Okay, alright. We are on the internet. Uh, I'm so professional. Why is that not picking up your sound? Default. How about that? Does that work? Nope. How exciting. I love, video output capture. Desktop. Oh, it is working. Okay, good.
Test.
Yes, it is working. Great. Very professional streaming. God, I hate professional streaming. I would much rather be an absolute dork. Hi, internet. I'm Ash. I use she, her pronouns. This is Oki. He uses he, him pronouns. This is Aaron. She uses she, her pronouns. We're gonna be doing a City of Red Waters playtest. So we're gonna be playing Blades in the Dark. And we're going to be using the City of Red Waters setting supplement that I've been working on for the Kickstarter backers, and we're going to be doing our session 0 today. Normally we would have a fourth face, which would be Dakota, but he's had to duck out. So I've got some notes from him about like what his preferences are and stuff like that. But mostly, we're going to go through today and have a look at getting ourselves set up as a team. Oki, do you want to just give yourself a quick introduction?
Sure. I'm Oki, aka GoKid. You can follow me at twitch.tv/GoKid. I'm a designer, creative director, and this is my first time doing any sort of role-playing game. So I'm super excited. And thanks so much, Ash, for
I've been promising to play a role-playing game with you for ages, so I was like...
It's true, yeah, but I mean, I would never, pressure you into, inviting me, so I'm super happy to be here. And I'm appreciative that you invited me. I'm excited.
And Aaron, for those who aren't familiar with you, even though you're always... we hang out a bit, who are you? Time to know.
I'm quiet. I can turn my mic up. Is that better?
Let me boost both the mics, because that'll be a thing. I'll have to turn myself down, I think, is the actual answer. Because my computer's sound settings are silly.
I'm more impressed that you're doing all this from your laptop. On your bed.
I'll chuck a gain on there. Let's give you all like 20 decibels. And then you should be fucking... It's so many bells. It's 2,000 bells. You're gonna be rich.
Shit.
Tom not got shit.
I got 2 million bells this week, so I mean...
Alright, well, fuck me then. Aaron, who are you?
Hi, I'm Aaron. She, her pronouns. I do random shit on the internet, I guess. Role-playing games. There's like a podcast that I started and participate in called that D&D podcast. You can check us out on Twitter with that name that I just said. And aside from that, I'm just trying to retain what sanity I have while being cooped up in a house.
That's the common thread at the moment, I think. The static sound I think is just my mic. Music Aaron, sorry. I am waiting on a new headset, but this one is all good for now.
If you're boosting us 20 decibels, it's going to have a static because it's boosting the dead noise too.
Yeah, yours, I'm boosting you 30 decibels and it's actually not boosting the dead noise because it's like there is no dead noise, which is good. It's my mic that has the trouble, which is fine. So, Blades in the Dark is um, a game about being a gang of no good doers, trying to make their way in the world. Traditionally, Blades is very much about kind of being a part of a very classist society that and kind of the way in which everyone ends up being a criminal, and by trying to make your way in the world and build yourself up. If you've seen Peaky Blinders, it's very Peaky Blinders.
I'm wearing that.
Yeah. Um, oh god, now I'm terrified. What's in the cap? Okay, what's in the cap? It's very much that of like them building up their empire. We're going to be playing in the city of Red Waters, alternate setting. So rather than the default setting, which has a kind of focus on classism, this one has a bit more of a focus on colonialism, and the way that intersects with those existing themes, which is fun. So we're going to be playing a crew. So what we're going to do today in session 0 is go through a bit of information about the world, work out what kind of crew we want to make our characters, and get ourselves set up for our first session next week. And then Dakota is going to make his character in the downtime. So that'll be a surprise for us.
Cool.
So as far as the setting goes, City of Red Waters is an additional supplement. Yeah, I got that. Cool. Welcome to Inverouge. The land here is rich from 100,000 years of care and 100 years of blood. Inverouge is a vibrant colonial city on the mouth of the River Sange. Its music, cuisine, and culture are the envy of the modern world. Amongst dark trees courting still waters, and against the backdrop of rolling green hills, the city delights itself with intoxicating local produce and drapes itself in finery from every corner of the world. At night, it erupts into a cacophony of lights and music in a dozen clashing styles. Meanwhile, its dark heart lurks in the swamps, the shanty towns, and every bite of gluttonous pride. Here in the city of Red Waters, there are opportunities for decadence, ambition, and monstrosity in equal measure for those who can get away with it. So the city itself was originally so our world is similar but not the same as the world we live in. So there is a large central continent called Magna Mundus, which has a lot of different peoples and countries in it. And then from there, those peoples of Magna Mundus have in the last several hundred years been exploring outwards and finding other continents. So we are on the second Novatera. Inverouge is on the second continent to be discovered. It was discovered by the Calvis, who are a kind of French analog, and populated there, and then purchased from them by the Etish, which are a kind of British analog. We're looking at a period of like mid 1800s equivalent technology, and it's very much a colonial city. So you have the city that's still kind of booming as it's being developed, and then like the little populations around it, and then eventually wilderness. As much as yes, absolutely not certainly uninhabited and not being managed by local peoples at all. And that's the thing that we will explore in the way that we play. Um, so, to start with, let me have a look. Does Blades normally get you to do your crew first or your characters first? It usually gets you to do your characters first, doesn't it?
I believe so. That's the way we've done it. Is I feel like knowing what everybody wants to be kind of gives you a better feel for like what your goal would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I like to do is either do that or do crew type characters, and then the crew details is the other way that it works.
Yeah, whatever works. I'm cool with
Yeah. We do have some extra bonus. The City of Red Waters playtest does give us some a playset does give us some extra crew types, which might be fun to have a look at.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you all have any ideas about crew types or character types that you might like to play?
I was gonna say, okay, do you have the PDF already with?
Of the Blades
Yeah,
rules?
I have the PDF in front of me,
Okay, I just wanted
and
to make sure
I
you
looked through
were
the characters and the crew a bit. So,
okay.
I mean, Aaron, if you had anything in mind.
Well, I just want to say if you want to play like the real hard mode starts here. There's the River of Blood.
Okay.
I have a
So
feeling that
basically-
throwing Oki in on like the hardest crew type is probably. I mean, he'd be well supported by his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be one of the flavors of the day because you get to do whatever you need to do to get rid of some government officials who are making life worse for indigenous people.
Okay.
I mean, making
like
life
that.
worse for everyone that ain't white folks, so that ain't rich white folks. So, yeah, like
That
Given
sounds fun.
the world which we occupy currently, there is some appeal there.
yeah,
Sure.
it is the burn it all down one, but because it's focusing really hard on that like oppression thing, that's why it is the harder one. It's like
Yeah.
it's very oppressive at the start.
Yeah, so if you look at all the other crew sheets, as you take over territory, you get bonuses. With the River of Blood, it's almost the opposite. You have this whole sheet of it's basically your kill list, and until you kill those people, you get like severe
Penalties.
detriments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's like if the head banker's still alive, you get a maximum of like 2 coin per score, and if the editor in chief is still alive, you get a maximum of 1 rep per score because basically they're suppressing all of the info about what
news.
you're doing and stuff.
Right. Fake news. Got it.
Basically. So yeah, that's definitely the hard mode way,
But
but
it is the
also-
very like gratifying.
yeah. The thing about Blades is you're supposed to drive the characters like you stole them, for lack of a better, phrase. So, hey, everything's against us. Let's see what we can burn down before they take us out. It's kind of a fun way to do that.
The other two new ones for those watching that aren't familiar with City of Red Waters, that aren't in the default, that are like additional for the playset. So we could just choose one of the default playset ones as well. One of the default ones. But we also have Roots, who are where you're a group of farmers, and you have instead of having like normal upgrades, you have plots that you grow produce on they're like weird, fucked up magical produce that is empowered by the blood of those that you definitely don't murder and bury in your farm.
Why would we do that? That's
Yeah.
And then we've got the MCs, whose whole thing is like having parties. They are party goers and party havers, party goers, hosts, and socialites. So that's if you really want to focus on like just how fucked up it is that like people are having such a good time when there's so much suffering going on.
yeah.
And then you've got your traditional, you can play, like all of the traditional ones. So bounty hunters or assassins or smugglers and all those sorts of things.
Right. I honestly, I'm down for anything. I'm here for the ride. So,
Someone's gonna have to make some fucking decisions sometime soon.
yeah, believe me, I will when it comes down to it. But I mean, River of Blood sounds pretty fun.
Sounds like we're doing that then.
That's the River of Blood.
Let me create us a. So I'll create us a. So now I think it's good to make your characters with that context, and then you can make the details for the
Gang.
for the gang for the gang later once you know about the individual players. So we'll make a river of blood. I'm gonna create. You should all have a crew sheet now in the it says it apparently our crew is called Roffle Lukiok, which is that's just the random name that I created for the character sheet.
Gotcha.
So let me read a little bit more about the River of Blood, so that we where is it?
Page 14.
You're a gun.
Look, I'm used to being on the other side of this thing, so like.
Yeah.
I
So
try to be on top of shit.
the River of Blood, the ready oppressed. These pasty-rich bastards have built a life of luxury on your suffering, and you will not let that stand. When you play the River of Blood, you earn XP when you successfully foment, murder, or overthrow. Instead of claims, you have a river of names and the penalties that they apply to you until they are washed away with blood. Whenever one of the people listed in the river dies, colour over them and their associated penalty in red until as they both no longer exist. So we'll get to pick our hunting grounds, our contacts, and all these sorts of things. But this is playing terrorists. This is what we're doing.
Good terrorists.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I guess all terrorists think they're doing something good.
That's how terrorism works.
Yeah.
So, given that, let's get into character creation. There are, is it 8 different? 7. So
Something like that.
There's the cutter, who they hurt people. They do a violence. They're here to fuck some shit up. There's the hound, that is the hunter, the tracker, the one you can't get away from. There's the leech, which is a kind of crazy alchemist. An alchemist. There is the lurk, who is the sneaky one, capable of going places not being seen. I don't remember what the slide is. I never remember the slide.
Says manipulator and spies.
All right, yeah. So that's James Bond. The spider, who controls things from afar. That's Polly from the Peaky Blinders. And then there's the Whisper, who is Spooky Ghost, which is what Polly then kind of transitions between Spider and Whisper. They do weird stuff with ghosts.
Cool.
Do people have what excites you? What do you hype for? What do you want to do? Do you want to blow some stuff up?
I'd love for Aaron to go first, of course, so I can see how
Fair.
they walk it through. Yeah.
Okay, see, I was gonna. Is there one that you're leaning towards, like one that sounded better? Because, like, I don't want to,
Honestly, I'm open to anything. I'm sort of leaning
Canada
towards
over here. Jesus Christ.
No. I'm leaning towards cutter or hound, just to like smash and like kill myself, just so I'm a little I feel like that might be easier for me to at least figure out, obviously, for
Yeah.
this my first game ever.
Yeah. The leech is also good for exploding things, but it's a bit more technical in the way it does that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, see, I was kind of looking at Cutter, so
Okay.
if you're cool with Hound, then we can be, you could be the person shooting over my shoulder to hit people in the face with things.
Exactly. You don't see a guy behind you, but I take him out.
Yeah.
I don't see a guy behind you. Thank you, or behind me. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that works. So a cutter and a hound are a good combo.
That's fun.
All right. So I will give you both a character sheet. It's real tricky for me on my laptop to be able to show the Roll20 window
Full.
to stream. So I'm mostly just talking through stuff today, and most of today is talking through stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Bloody or short? Maybe both. Okay.
So there's a character sheet in Oki's journal, and here's a character sheet in Aaron's journal.
Sweet.
So it doesn't look like we have edit access to it, so you may have to add that.
Can be edited and controlled by. There you go. It's been so long since I used Roll20.
I think we need that for the GM one as well, or
Yep.
for the crew one as well, rather.
Yep.
Thank you. So Oki, the sheets for this are probably among the best like
Roll20
setup
sheets.
that Roll20 has.
Cool.
Because like so much of it just fills itself out, and it's real good.
Am I clicking? I can see these three characters. Do I just click on one of them, or?
There should be one that is. Let me have a look.
I think Uber is.
Oh yeah,
yours.
Ubre. There it is. Sweet.
And then
Yep,
you
I
should
see
have
it.
a tab that says character sheet.
Got it. Awesome.
That's the crew sheet. Cool. So, let's go through and do. Do we want to guide Oki through first, or do we want to do Aaron as an example?
I love to. Yeah, if Aaron could go first, then
Yeah,
I could see. That'd
sounds
be
good.
great.
Let's do it.
If she doesn't mind.
Sure.
All right. So, where am I? Where's character creation? Page 52 of my PDF.
Yep.
Um,
First up, I choose a heritage.
Oh, so we get to look at the heritages for Red Waters. Red Waters has a bunch of heritages available. So heritage in Inveruge is complex and multifaceted. Choose where your family is from, but also how you came to be here. Are you indigenous, connected to the land since before all time? Were your family settlers, claiming the land for themselves with flags and guns? Were your people brought here in chains, either for crimes committed or for the colour of their skin? Were you simply migrants, lured across the sea by the promise of work and opportunity? Are you the first of your family in Inveruge, or do your people have roots here now? Or are you just passing through on the river tide? So we've got a bunch of different places and peoples that you can be from. We have Calvia, Etten, Silvata, Galas, Eastern Magnamundus, and the river peoples. Do you have a feeling, Aaron, of where you want to be from?
Is one of these like a South America analog by any chance? I see fertile rainforest and stuff for the Galas. Is that?
So Galas is our Africa analog. There aren't a lot of South American the South America analog doesn't have a lot of population in Varouge, simply because it's like South America is dominated by the dominated by the Silvati, and so there's not a lot of people who are native to there who've been able to leave. Um,
Mm.
because like that continent is under the control of one of the empires, and we're playing in an area that's controlled by the others. Um,
Gotcha.
but if you so the closest thing to playing someone, uh, um, uh, like you can play someone who is Silvata because they're still trying to whose family are Silvati,
Hmm.
because they're still trying Silvato, sorry, um, are still trying to like explore out further in this race for an infinite number of continents. It seems, um, but yeah.
Hmm. Maybe like the wealthy ones. Kind of don't want to be a wealthy person, or maybe
Like this is like they're the wealthy nation. That does not mean everyone from there is wealthy. So
absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be Silvato.
yeah, cool. So for the sake of chat, Silvata is the wealthiest of Regnus's major powers, the first to round the Horn of Galas and many centuries ago to dominate trade with the eastern nations of Magnamundus. Um, Silvata were also the conquerors of the first Terra Nova, extracting the wealth and value, all wealth and value possible from with its ruthless and highly decorated military. The Silvato aristocracy value wealth and might, amassing fortunes and armies, and displaying them as ostentatiously as possible. Its common people labour under the hot sun and of the southern coast of Regnus, and appreciate any opportunity to escape the harsh rule of their nobility, and share a drink and a dance in the cool evening air. Many labourers from the
Yeah,
Silvato colonies on the first Terra Nova escaped to the second in search of a life of freedom. So that's probably who you are then. Settling
yeah,
in the many of the Calvis and Adish colonies, including in Rouge. As a group, they are mistrustful of the ruling classes, but are accustomed to a harsher touch than that of the aristocracy of the city of Red Waters. So, if you're Silvato, you're probably like, "Hey, these guys aren't so bad." like, like they haven't shot any of my family yet. What the hell? Um, or at least that's what your parents might have been like. Um,
yeah, maybe so. I think maybe they left to find something better, and maybe I came here younger,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I'm more used to this. And there's that weird,
yeah,
that really sharp generational divide where
yeah.
your parents are like, no, 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 it could be so much worse. Look, we got this and this and this, and they haven't shot anybody, that in front of you. So like, what are you even complaining
And then
about?
made
It's
you
like,
clean
no,
it
this
up.
is all
Yeah,
fucked.
yeah. No, exactly. That's yeah. Because the thing is, like, there's a reason that Silvana's the most wealthy, and it's because they're the most fucking like give us the money
Cutthroat.
or will yeah they're the most cutthroat. All right, cool. So then we have a look at where am I? Do heritage, choose a background. So we actually use pretty similar backgrounds uh, to um, to default blades. The context given in City of Red Waters is just some examples that are more common in Inverouge. So yeah. Do you have any that speak out to you?
Labor and coach driver kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
It's I feel like being able to see how bad it is for, you know, everybody getting the scraps from the table, and also having my day job be driving the
Driving the
the
fancy
more
ones
wealthy
around.
people around and seeing them just not give a shit.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, that's really cool. It also it also is gonna like mean that you've got probably got some contacts that that are going to get you close to some of those really rich, fancy people.
That's the
Um,
hope.
so that's valuable. Then you get to do your 4 action dots.
Yay.
So the how no you're the cutter, aren't you?
Cutter. Yeah.
What does cutter start with?
You start with 2 dots in skirmish and 1 dot in command. I get to assign 1 based on my heritage, 1 based on my background, and 2 other ones as I see fit. Let's see. Menial laborers.
So for chat and Oki's benefit, the number of dots that you have is the number of dice you roll when you attempt to do something, and then you take the
Yes.
highest number from that.
Cool.
If you have 0 dots in something, you roll 2 dice and you take the lowest number, which you do not want.
It's not
Right.
good. Like when rolling those dice, so you take like the highest of those d6. A 6 is like a 6 is a success.
Right.
And then a 4 and a 5 are a success with a problem. And then a 1 to 3 are less great.
1 to 3 is oops all berries.
Yeah.
And then if
Yeah.
you get 2 6s, it's critical, and it's like real good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. 2 6s is why can't I hold all these limes? So you got your dots. Aaron, where have you put them?
So I think I'm gonna do finesse for my background dot, since it's, handling a vehicle.
Yep.
Um,
What do you, because do you do a dot for your heritage? Do you have a feeling about that?
I feel like survey.
Yeah.
Find trouble before it happens, gather information, that sort of thing. If you're a menial laborer, you want to, know where the dangerous spots are, etc.
Yeah. Dangerous spots are where the boss is looking.
We can't go more than 2 pips in the beginning, or else I'd put more in skirmish, because that's how I solve my problems. We'll do 1 dot in consort, and probably 1 dot in rec.
Very cool. Rec is a good, like, a personal favorite.
See, I'm all about the skirmish.
Fair.
I had a cutter once where I could punch the souls out of people.
That's dope.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I like rec because I like to be the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Choose a special ability. What are the cutter's special abilities?
There's a bunch of them, and they're all really good.
Yeah.
To start with, I'm going to go with not to be trifled with.
Yes.
You can put. Sorry, what?
I love the fact that it became not to be trifled with from the original
Not to be fucked with.
the original name of it, which is not to be fucked with.
It says, you can push yourself to do one of the following: perform a feat of physical force that verges on the superhuman, or engage a small gang on equal footing in close combat.
I fucking love
So
you count as a small gang, like. Yep. Excellent. Cool. Great. And then we need. You don't get special armor for that. You need a friend and a rival.
Friend and rival. Oof. My friend is Sawtooth, a physiker.
Dope.
So it's good to have somebody who can patch you up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my rival is going to be Marlene.
Yes. Yes.
She's my Gary Oak.
Right. Awesome. Cool.
A little Pokemon reference there for you.
Yep. What's really interesting is that like you end up doing this thing where like because we've got the different setting, you recontextualize things. So like
Hmm.
in my head, Marlene is definitely the fallen daughter of like a Calvi's house
Mm.
where she's like where she yeah. All right, and then you get to choose your vice. So vice works a little slightly differently. It works mostly the same as basic blades, except with an extra little bit of fun on top.
Hmm.
So the basic vices that you'll be choosing from to start with are the default blades vices. But if you give me a second, I'm going to read about vices.
Page
Um,
6.
so um, everything in Rouge has the taint of blood and earth, especially that which calls to us. Various vices have differing tiers. Your starting vice is considered tier 0, so that's your default faith, gambling, luxury, obligation, pleasure, stupor, or weird. When you roll to indulge your vice, you clear additional stress equal to the tier of the vice you're indulging. Anytime you overindulge your vice in Inverouge, you gain a new vice from the next tier of the vice list. The tiers of the vice list describe your increasingly specific and less socially palatable tastes. If you overindulge when you already have 5 vices, you gain an unquenchable taste for blood, the essence of life itself, and transfer your character to the vampire playbook.
Whoa.
So you might start with faith, gambling, luxury, obligation, pleasure, stupor, or weird. And then we might get a little bit more specific. Fruits, sweets, music, cheese, tobacco, spirits, sex. Then we might get to wine, meats, painting, sculpture, fortune telling, bondage, gold, jewels, fine cloth, blood sport, cocaine, domination. And then just before becoming a vampire, you might be interested in cannibalism, torture, opiates, or seances. So you kind of get a bit more ridiculous until we finally become a vampire.
Pretty cool.
So do you have a feeling about what you want your starting vice to be?
Weird.
Yeah, what does that look like?
I think my character blows off steam by trying to commune with the spirits of the swamp.
Dope. Love it. Record your name, alias, and look. I think does the game have names at the end, or is that? Oh yeah, there's a bunch of there are some names that you could use as inspiration. They're also the name list that I use. Um, uh, but also whatever
Oh,
works
you
for
do.
you. Yep. These are actually the output from a neural net I put together for coming up with names for the game.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Do you get options for look? Yeah.
Where? Let me see. Look. Cutter. This one doesn't have. Oh,
Ah.
there we go. Page. I have a Blade Sheets PDF, which is like condensed rule set
Ah.
stuff,
Right. Yep.
but it's got some stuff on there.
Yep.
Let me drag this to this screen.
The one thing that I haven't got to show you all is John's done custom versions, like custom crew sheets for these crews. So the River of Blood is an actual like river with the names on it and stuff. It's very cool.
Very cool.
All right. Looks. Woman. Athletic. I'm trying to think of clothing. What does a carriage, like a coach driver, wear?
Probably coattails.
Mm. Because
Tail
like I'm
tail
looking up
coat.
right now, and it's just like people in business casual clothing driving buses, and that's not like
Yeah,
what we're
that's
going
not
for
quite.
here.
Probably like high boots because you're probably dealing with horses and horse droppings.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have a whip.
Suspenders and fitted leggings.
Dope. Cool. What's your name?
Isadora Martin.
Love it. Cool. Alright. Well, I'm thinking that we might take a quick break,
Okay.
and then we'll come back. That'll give Oki a minute to stew before we make him do actual mechanical things of this role playing game.
You have moments to
Cool.
stew before we serve you up.
Yep. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Catch you
Cool.
all on the flip side.